Indiana, springing the upset?
You are Locked On College Football, smothered and covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome in. Thank you for checking out the show. My name's Barrett Sallee. You can follow me on all the social media platforms at Barrett Sallee. Thank you for watching, listening. Please subscribe, review, all of that stuff. If you do the podcast thing, you already know what I'm asking for. So please do it, especially write a review. Got a big show for you today. We'll talk a little bit about recruiting. I don't really get into a ton of recruiting because you can't half cover it. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to sit here and tell you what Julian Lewis, what Bryce Underwood do well, but I can tell you what each of them mean for their respective teams. So we'll do that. We'll also predict some future headlines when you open your virtual newspaper on Sunday. What will it say? Of course, we'll do Friday 5 as well. Hey, you know what? Show brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. Visit FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to get started. All right, Friday 5. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I kind of apologize because this has been a roller coaster of emotions. If you've been following my Friday 5 picks, you've had 5-0 weeks, you've had 0-5 weeks. You've had 4-1 weeks. You've had 1-4 weeks. I'm sorry for toying with your emotions, but I'm probably going to toy with your emotions again because history tends to repeat itself. All right, the biggest game of the weekend. We'll start at the top, and that is Indiana and Ohio State. Indiana's getting no respect. They haven't gotten any respect all season. Everyone points to their strength of schedule and say, oh, it's number 109. They suck. They ain't played nobody. Okay, no one ever plays anybody in this sport. I will say this, though. If you say they haven't played anybody, then you have to talk about the alternative. Who has and what have they done? Indiana has won all but one game by 14 or more points. They haven't played down to their competition. Everybody else has. Well, the exception of Army. Everybody else has. So stop it with the strength of schedule stuff. It's a good football team, and they're going to prove that they're a good football team. Even if they don't beat Ohio State, they're going to keep it close. It's a good defense. We can talk about Curtis Rourke all we want. This is a very good defense. And going up against an Ohio State offensive line doesn't have Seth McLaughlin. We talked a little bit about this when we talked about time to shine in yesterday's episode. But the offensive line for Ohio State is a little bit of a liability right now. The defense is going to force Will Howard into some mistakes. It will be a 4-quarter game. You might see Ohio State get a touchdown win late. But to me, I believe Indiana will have the ball with a chance to tie or win with under 5 minutes to go. Write it down in Sharpie. Indiana will have the ball with under 5 minutes to go with a chance to win the football game. So minus 10.5. Lay that or grab that minus 10.5. You will be fine. I know it's a big game, but I trust big game Kurt Cignetti. Grab those 10.5 points. Ole Miss at Florida. It's up to 12 now. This game opened at 10.5, and now Florida's 12-point underdog at home. I've been beating this drum for so long. Florida's actually a good football team. They're actually a good football team, and they're going to prove it against Ole Miss. Now, I know Ole Miss has a bye, and they have some former Florida transfers who I talked to 2 weeks ago in Oxford who are, let's just say, pumped, out for blood in this game. Doesn't matter. Jaden Ball can run. We know what the offense looks like with DJ Lagway. But the most important thing is the defense gets after the quarterback. We hadn't really seen that much over the first, 2 months of the season. We saw it against LSU, and that's a good LSU offensive line. So am I saying Florida's going to upset Ole Miss? No. Would I put money on the money line? No. But 12 points? I'll grab those points all day, all night, all evening long. Because I do believe that the Gators have bought in to their coach, bought in to DJ Lagway, developed as a defense, and will force Jackson Dart into a mistake or two. That's all it might take, because I do think this could be another step in proving that DJ Lagway is the future. DJ Lagway can get this team in a spot next year where they are in the SEC championship game discussion. So grab those 12 points. Florida will cover. Oklahoma will not. They're hosting Alabama. You know, it's funny because before the season, it's like, oh man, I'm sure Oklahoma folks are like, Alabama's coming here. That's going to be badass. Can't wait to see it. And now Oklahoma fans are like, God, can we just get this over with? Can we just get this season over with? You're going to want that even more, because this is going to be one of those games where you look back on and you're like, wow, the SEC is way more difficult than we thought. Look, Oklahoma's got a great defense. I've never slighted Oklahoma's defense. They are fantastic. But they can only do so much, right? They can only do so much. There are a lot of teams like this, right? Auburn's like this in the SEC, where you hang around because your defense keeps you in it. You force turnovers. But at some point, everything falls apart. The defense just gives up because they're just out of gas. They're just out of gas. You cannot rely on a defense the way that Oklahoma does and expect to beat a team like Alabama that has found an offensive groove. So will this game be tight for a little while? Maybe. But even if it is, that fourth quarter, man, that's going to get ridiculously sideways. Lay those points with Bama. This is a 20-point game. I firmly believe this is a 20-point game. Even if it's close for a little while, Oklahoma is not going to be able to hang around in the second half. All right, let's do some over-unders. We've got 3 down. We got 2 more to go. Both of them are point total picks. We're going to start SMU at Virginia over 57 and a hook. I know Rhett a lot. I know Rhett quite a bit. He understands the situation he's in. He understands that, hey, there's still an outside shot that SMU could get an at-large bid, even if they don't win the ACC. So he's going to run it up, man. He is going to run it up on Virginia. It's like, remember the Titans. Run it up, Herman. Leave no doubt. SMU is going to leave no doubt about who they are, where they want to go, and what they can be, not just this year, but moving forward under one of the best coaches in the country in Rhett Lashley. I expect Kevin Jennings to account for 5 touchdowns himself. 5 touchdowns himself. And when you factor in the pedal on the floor, pedal to the metal factor, just go ahead and take the over. I mean, hell, SMU might get to 50 itself. I'm not joking. SMU might get to 50 itself. Apologies to Tony Elliott. So over 57.5. We're going to go under to finish it up. Missouri at Mississippi State, under 57.5. I'm not sure what Vegas sees in Missouri's offense to expect them to move up and down the field, especially considering their defense is actually okay. So will the defense shut down Mississippi State? Look, probably. I like Van Buren, but still, this is a mulligan year for the entire Mississippi State program, but certainly Jeff Lebby in his first year ever as a head coach anywhere. So Missouri's defense will keep Mississippi State at bay, but the offense just play ugly. Whether it's Pine or Cook, I don't care who it is. Eli has gotten past the point of trying to show off. He doesn't need to show off anymore. There's no chance he makes the playoff. Just get the job done. Get to a good bowl. Don't do anything stupid that can put your team at risk. And that's what I expect him to do. I don't think they get to 30. I don't think they might not even sniff 30. There's no need to. Why get crazy with Mississippi State when Mississippi State's not going to be able to score because your defense is pretty darn solid? So Missouri at Mississippi State under the 57.5. We'll take a break. Future headlines coming up on the other side. It's college football smothered and covered, powered by Locked On. Today's show brought to you by Prize Picks. I got into Prize Picks shortly after the pandemic, did some Prize Picks for golf, for NASCAR. Those were the first two that came back. Well, some of the first two that came back. Supercross came back too. But got into Prize Picks, haven't stopped yet. Hit a big one last night with Georgia Tech and NC State. Thank you very much, Haynes King, for a rushing touchdown. Also, Eric Singleton, really appreciate you not being hurt, even though you got banged up in the first drive of the game. And very nice of NC State to not throw the ball at all. Appreciate that. Morris getting touchdowns on the ground, totally fine. Didn't throw for all that much. Sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Think a receiver is going to get more than 83 and a hook next week? Lamar Jackson might throw for 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks app today. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege, and you'll get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Download the app. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. We're also brought to you by our good friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page, right where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, let's do some future headlines. Hope in a hopeless world. If you guys know a little bit about me, I had a jam band era for about 20 years of my life. Stopped listening to Fish, still love Widespread Panic. Panic has a great song, Hope in a Hopeless World. And that's exactly what Indiana is going to be feeling after they still have hope despite feeling hopeless heading into the locker room. They're going to head in the locker room. We lost a close game to Ohio State. Do we still have hope? What's going to happen? Well, after all the dominoes fall on Saturday, after Big Noon Saturday, Indiana's going to be fine. Indiana's going to be fine. They're going to be top 8 in the college football playoff rankings on Tuesday. They're going to have hope. They're going to see the landscape of college football and be like, damn, we're okay. We're okay. All we got to do is beat Purdue. And we're in. And let's be honest. Me and you listening, watching, Just us two could beat Purdue. I rhymed there and I didn't mean to. I apologize for that. Like, you know what? No, I don't apologize for that. That's just good interneting. But hope in a hopeless world. Ohio State and Oregon might be playing for the Big Ten championship game, but Indiana will beat Purdue. They'll have the one loss. It'll be relatively close. Some teams around the top 12 will start cannibalizing each other a little bit. And all will be good in Bloomington. Next up, Irish eyes are smiling. They're going to hand Army the first loss of the season. And here's the thing. I know Notre Dame is one of the most polarizing teams in the country. I get it. I understand. And a lot of folks have made the "they ain't played nobody" comment about Notre Dame. And that's fine. It doesn't matter because the committee is going to view Army as a ranked win. They're going to view Army as a quality win. So it doesn't matter what you and I think about Notre Dame. All they got to do is win, and they've got a quality win that the committee will use to boost them in terms of the discussion. Maybe not in the rankings, but they'll get more street cred. And I believe it's going to be a blowout. I think Notre Dame's going to wipe the floor with Army. And look, I love America. I love our troops. It's not a slight against you. It's a family show, but we've all seen Team America World Police. America. Look, I love the troops. I don't love them to keep this game close. Notre Dame's defense is going to slow them down, wear them out. They will not get to double digits. Meanwhile, Riley Leonard and Notre Dame will make a massive statement. Last one, Gophers nearly got him. I'm telling y'all, Max Bosmer's a good quarterback, local kid from suburban Atlanta. He can play, and he's played really well lately. 3 touchdowns in each of the last 3 games. And Penn State, I wouldn't say they're teetering. If they have 2 losses, they'll still probably get in. But they really wouldn't have one of those wins where you go, wow, that team can play. They'll just be good. And they'll win, but you're not going to see Drew Allen go off. You're not going to see Nick Singleton and Katron Allen go off. You're going to see a very conservative, bland, boring brand of football from the Nittany Lions. James Franklin, I don't think he needs style points. If he gets the win, he knows it. If he gets the win and wins next week, he's in. But Minnesota's going to keep it close, folks. Minnesota's going to have the ball late with a chance to win. What is it, 10.5? I didn't put them in Friday 5. Maybe should have. I didn't put them in Friday 5. But the Gophers nearly going to get them. Gophers nearly got them. That is the 3rd future headline this week. So hope in a hopeless world, Indiana still has hope despite a loss. Irish eyes are smiling. Notre Dame is going to be off and running towards the college football playoff, and Gophers nearly got it. Penn State is going to struggle with Minnesota. Talk some Cruton next. It's college football smothered and covered. Not going to lie, I could use some ZBiotics. Could have done that last night. I stayed up watching the Georgia Tech game. It was an awesome game. God, that was so much fun. Did not have a ZBiotics beforehand. Man, I am regretting it today. It's the first pre-alcohol drink that's the first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol provides an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Go to ZBiotics.com/lockedoncollege, ZBiotics.com/lockedoncollege to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use that promo code at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to ZBiotics.com/lockedoncollege and use the code lockedoncollege at checkout for 15% off. We're also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You know, if you bet that $5 and win, you get that $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need all in one place. If you get a hunch in the middle of the game, all of those stats, live play-by-play, all there right where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Let's talk Cruton. Cruton. There's a guy right here on your screen. If you're listening, just imagine it. Julian Lewis, 5-star quarterback in the class of 2025, committed to Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Decommitted from USC Sunday. Now he's with the Buffs. And it's funny, we could see this coming. For those of us who, this is true story. We had the Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders Zoom call on Thursday. And we got the email with the link. And right underneath it says, you cannot ask about recruiting. So we're like, normally we know that. Like, we're pros, we're Big J journalists. We know that. But then Julian Lewis commits, and it's like, oh, that's why they put that disclaimer in. To me, this is proof. Like, look, a lot of commitments are engineered, right? Players are silent commits, whatever. And coaching staffs will say, hey, I want you to commit at this day, a time. I want you to commit later in the process or early. Like they orchestrate that stuff to try to keep momentum going. I don't think it's a coincidence that we start hearing about Deion Sanders in the NFL, Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys, and then the quarterback of the future commits 2 days later. Does this mean Deion is staying? I don't know, but it certainly makes it more likely. So that is my in-depth recruiting story on Colorado. And again, look, I know there's a lot of people out there. I'm not going to BS you, right? I hope you don't BS me, but I respect you enough to sit here and say, I don't know what kind of quarterback Julian Lewis is. No idea. I don't follow recruiting 24/7. People that follow the college game really shouldn't talk about recruiting because they don't follow recruiting 24/7. Certainly national guys. And even like these team sites on 24/7 or on 3, whatever, they've got writers who cover the games, and they also have recruiting specialists. Those are the guys you trust, which is fine. Don't trust me about Julian Lewis's game because I honestly have not been to one. But I do know how coaches operate. And this 100% was orchestrated by Deion Sanders to tamp down any idea of him going to the NFL, at least for now, at least until he gets his early signing class in. Flip! We got a flip alert. Flip alert. Bryce Underwood, the #1 overall player in the class of 2025, flipped from LSU to Michigan. You saw some of the stories coming out about this. Let's just say there's one family who put in a lot of money and resources into getting Bryce to flip from LSU. 2 things about this. One, the natural reaction, I think, from a lot of people is money talks. And it does to an extent, right? I know there's been talk of some money out there and what he got. I think some of those estimates are inflated a little too much. Thinking more like 1.5 a year might be, 1.7 a year might be where he is. And any number you see is assuming he stays for 5, which he's not. But it's not all about the money. It still is about other things. And I'm told from reliable sources that there were things that sprung up over the last month or so that soured Bryce Underwood on LSU, and it has nothing to do with money. So yeah, think about it this way. If you work for a company, right, and you're a little unhappy, you're still getting paid handsomely, but you're a little unhappy. And another company comes in and says, hey, you know what? We're going to make you happier and we're going to give you more money. You cool with that? What'd you say? Would you say yes? I would say yes. And I think that's what's at stake here. That's the Bryce Underwood part. The second, and I saw this pop up a lot too, is for Brian Kelly. That is something I would be concerned about. We talked about Brian Kelly, on Monday, about how the hot seat talk kind of flipped from Billy Napier across the other sideline to Brian Kelly during that game. I think that's unfair in the moment, but we're talking about next year, right? We're talking about what the future of LSU's program is. Bryce Underwood's no longer the future. Why? Is it Brian Kelly? Is there a problem with LSU? If there is, then, little things ratchet up the hot seat, right? Little tiny things here and there. This is one that can do it. Not this year, but I think moving forward, it could be a big problem. Hey, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. Please share the show, write a review, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that notification bell as well so you can see when this show goes live every single weekday morning. Have a great Saturday. Should be a fun one. Penultimate weekend of the season, of the regular season anyway. So enjoy it and savor it. Have a good one.